Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah,
I'm almost out of coffee. Excuse me. Went down the wrong pipe.
where's my song?
Welcome to the Morning Muffin Show, your morning carbo load of real estate. I can't figure out how I want to angle this. I have this like vent in my room.
You're going to make
It drives me
people dizzy.
crazy. I know, I'm sorry. Blair Witch Project.
God, you're funny. Good morning,
Sorry.
everybody. I'm Lisa Wickman.
I'm Jennifer Cotis. Welcome to the Morning Muffin Show.
And we are the
Good
Wickman
morning.
Real Estate Group. You already sang. Maybe you forgot.
I know. Sorry.
We're the Wickman Real Estate Group with eXp Realty in Minneapolis. So welcome to our show this morning. We have a very exciting topic, too.
Oh, yes. It's one of my favorite topics ever. Ice dams. You guys.
Wow. Ice dams. It's a Minnesota
Ice dams.
thing.
Okay, so yeah, and it's ice dams is one of those things that you can kind of have that funny conversation with your clients. I wrote it like in the description today. I don't know if you read it, but it's like ice dams, it's not your fault. It happens to everybody. Like you can kind of have that cheeky conversation, let's talk about anatomy for a second here about a house. And then you can kind of like fill them in with how ice dams happen and what we can do to prevent them. People get scared by them. Well, I feel like ice dams and wet basements are like the two things that people like fear the most when buying a home.
I think not enough people know about ice dams. Maybe you should show a picture of an ice dam so people that don't know. For our Southern people who don't know what the hell an ice dam is, we can show them a picture of one.
We have Southern people?
I don't know.
Application
of course we do.
Window.
We're just assuming that.
Here it is. Can you guys see that?
That's what the back of my old house used to look like in the winter when we had ice dams. Very much.
Stand underneath them.
I had, what was it? Was it last year or the year before that the ice dams were so horrible? Everybody had them. It didn't matter what your house looked like. Everybody had one. And I like to grill in the winter. And I had a really nice Weber grill, and I would just, wheel it over so it's right in front of my sliding glass door, and a damn icicle dropped and bent my entire grill because, yeah,
that's strong. Well, they say like a cup of water is a pound, so like
imagine, yeah.
How big does it have to be to me?
Big, huge ice dam falling, icicles
like
falling.
A dead body falling off a roof. Boom. I'm sorry. Don't.
Are you going back to the Blair Witch Project? No. Okay.
No. Okay, you guys. So let's talk about anatomy for a second. I'm going to see if I can pull up some of these tabs here. Okay, share screen. Share screen. Application window.
Application
tab. I know, but it's not showing all my windows.
You're just going to have to explain how poor insulation, bad ventilation.
No, I have to put this up. Okay, so hold on.
You're going to have to do your song. Thank you for holding. Okay, well.
Thank you for holding. Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line. Okay, images. I gotta find it because you guys, I come from a family of roofers. Here we go. And this is what I was like looking for is this big picture here. Okay.
You come from a family of roofers?
I come from, well, my stepdad is a roofer, and people always blame the roof for ice dams. And let's just get this straight. It's not the roof, okay? They're like,
No.
oh, our roof is bad. Yes, it can absolutely ruin.
If your roof was installed properly with ice and water, then it's not the roof.
Right. Okay, so here's this picture. I don't know. Can I make it bigger?
Yeah. Yeah, make it bigger.
All right, you guys. It can ruin a roof. Yes, because ice, what happens is it flows down and it builds up and it can get underneath your shingles, right? So it can cause
We're talking about water.
Water, yes. Water can get, well, also water can go, but as it freezes, it expands. So that's what can cause a bad roof. Like, if there is, like, if the roof is old and it's starting to curl up, that is, you're more likely to have water damage and stuff like that. And it's all kinds of stuff. But okay, this here, you see this warm air escapes the home. A lot of the older homes have vents that come in through these side walls, which basically makes this like a chute of hot air and causes warm air to pool right here, right? And causes a hot spot. And so water, any snow that gets on these hot spots instantly melts and runs down the roof until it hits something solid like a pile of snow and refreezes, causing an ice dam. It starts with just one drop of water. So a lot of times what you'll see is like in Minnesota, these 1.5-story homes where you have upstairs, but it's got like a peak in the middle of it, and it'll have these like crawl spaces along the side. Those crawl spaces will have heat ducts in there so they can bring heat up to the upstairs room, and that usually is where a lot of hot air comes in. And so being able to insulate that area, but also it's not just insulation, it's also ventilation. So I'm so frustrated that I don't have this picture up. I want to show this picture. I wish you guys could see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I have them saved in all of my stuff from when I talk to my clients about this, because it's very important to educate our clients on it. Because I get a call every spring from first-time home buyers or even repeat home buyers, and they're like, "What is this?" And I have to tell them, number one, if there's water in the basement, run out and check to see if your
downspout
gutter pipes, your extension is hooked up, because a lot of people take those extensions off to like mow and they forget to put them back, and so water will just drip right there at the corner of your house. So if you put those on, anyway. But here, you guys can see this.
There we go.
This is a great picture. Okay, see, here's that crawl space there, and this looks like what a crawl space looks like. And this is a ventilation. A lot of people are missing this. They will put some kind of, as you can see here, some kind of insulation in there. Now, there are different types of insulation. Ooh, I'm going to tell you something really fun, okay? I like to say there's 3 kind of major ones. The spray foam, which is like the best thing that you can do. It's the most expensive. It's also the most permanent because it doesn't move. And then I'll go number 2 is fiberglass, blown in fiberglass, not this batting. This batting, actually, if you can see, like in the middle of this, there's like those sides where it doesn't touch. Those are hot spots because it doesn't completely cover. So you want to use blown in insulation in these areas. But fiberglass insulation is really great because it takes a really long time to settle. And then lastly, cellulose, which is the most popular, which is it looks like ground up newspaper. It's been treated, so it's not a fire hazard, but that will settle a lot faster. So if you have blown in cellulose in like your walls and stuff, it'll settle, and then you'll have a spot like on the upper area where it's settled, like especially if you have like a 1950s house, and it was insulated with cellulose once upon a time. Your cellulose now only goes about halfway up the wall, so you need to get it refilled up top. I recommend fiberglass. It's super inexpensive. Getting it blown in is great. But okay, so this is the gross part. You want to talk about cellulose? Okay, for those of you guys that buy high fiber foods, right? Like high fiber bread or high protein, and they often use cellulose as a filler. So read your ingredients, people. And this is the reason why it's wood pulp. It's like newspaper. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's high in fiber. I don't know, but I'm not necessarily. I tell my husband all the time, read the ingredients. You don't always know what you're eating. Okay.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know if it'll hurt you or anything. I'm sure they wouldn't put it in food. The FDA allows it, but it's not one of those wholesome ingredients, Okay.
Well, nobody wants to be eating insulation, wood pulp.
Right. Nobody. Right. Okay. So backing up, this pink thing here, as you can see, is a rafter ventilator or rafter. God, what is the name of it? It's like a rafter ventilation. Hold on. It's a soffit vent, a rafter vent, things like that. This is on the inside. Now they have permanent ones that, can you see my cursor here?
Yes, I can.
Okay, they have permanent ones that actually roll when you build a house, that actually roll all the way across the rafters, and it comes in a big sheet. That's the most ideal, obviously, but this is like and these are often missing a lot. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to X out of this picture, but I'm going to share another picture real quick. I know that you have stuff you want to talk about too.
So the whole thing is you need proper ventilation and proper insulation to avoid ice dams. But they might not, like the winter that we had a couple years ago, there was just no stopping it. We had so much snow.
Okay. Can you guys see this soffit? Yes. Okay. A lot of older homes, especially stucco homes, for some reason, I don't know why, have stuccoed. I'm sure you've seen it stuccoed over this, or they don't even have a vent here. They're really easy to install, and I would highly recommend it because you're going to need to ventilate your roof. You need that cold air. Now, the cold air blows across the roof and helps drive that hot air to the peak where there's natural ventilation and the hot air can escape. So you want those vents to help kind of like cool your roof and move the hot air along. Don't stop. Don't stop. Everybody do the hot air ventilation dance with me.
No, thank you.
Okay, so there's that.
There is that. So how do we avoid it?
Well, I love your story.
One thing we did already this year was, we got dumped on in October that melted, or whenever that first big snowstorm was in November. But we haven't had a lot of really little snow falls yet this year. They've been, accumulating inches. So I don't know, last month, sometime my son and my ex came and they raked the roof off. They raked the snow off the majority of the roof so that when you have this melting and freezing and melting and freezing, there's no snow to melt and freeze, and that will prevent ice dams. So it's really important to do that when you have a lot of snow on your roof. That's one way of preventing it. The other is something that I showed you, I sent you a picture of the heat cables. Pull it up. We had heat cables on our roof at my old house. Well, we still have them, and on the front of the house. And what that does is it melts the snow on the lower part of your roof so that to prevent ice dams. I have it on the front of my house as well here. That is exactly what it is. So that will help. And obviously we're not installing those in the winter. We're installing those prior to the snow falling, and they just stay on year round. and you just plug that in when you get snow and unplug it when there's no snow, snow accumulating, and that will help prevent you from getting ice dams. So raking your roof of snow, using these heat cables are two great ways of doing it.
I think that heat cables are the best for places that you can't get to.
Yes.
It's like I know a lot of homes have like walkout basements. So the back of their house is like 2 stories where the front of their house is 1 story. Easy as heck to rake the front of the house.
3 stories. Like my old house is a walkout basement. So you've got first floor, second, third, 3 stories up. We would get ice dams there quite often because we don't have heat cables up there. I don't know how you plug it in when it's on a 3rd story. But anyway, then we wanted to talk about, for those of you who do have ice dams, snow removal companies, what do you do? It's not a good idea for you to get up there and try to do this and remedy it yourself by maybe going up there with a hatchet or an axe or something. That's not going to do anything. You want to hire a company that's going to come out and steam off your roof for you and get rid of all of that water and that ice. And so the company that I chose to talk about, I think they're called the Ice Removal Guys, and they're a national company. And the reason I chose them, I've never had to use them myself, because we take preventative measures. But they have these guys, the Ice Dam guys. They have 500 positive 5-star reviews. And then they have some videos. We don't need to play the videos, but they get out there and they steam their roofs. When I did
look at all of these things, they have like that truck with all the bumper stickers on the back of it.
They're a good company.
They are a good company.
They're a good company. I did watch one of their clips this morning, and he was talking about, this is the kind of situation where they don't get phone calls 11 months out of the year. Then all of a sudden they're getting 1,000 calls in a day, and everybody, because it's an emergency. And one of the things that we didn't even talk about is that ice dams can cause water to leak into your home.
Yeah. Yeah, and they take the path of least resistance. So you might think water's coming from one spot, but it literally it can travel down and through. In mold, a lot of people when we did the mold thing in one of our things about grading and whatnot, but I had it coming from a chimney stack that isn't from a fireplace. A lot of these older homes, that chimney stack is where the furnace is ventilated from. And it had some issues on the top, on the crown, and some tuck pointing that needed to happen. And that's how water was getting into my basement. And so I had mold in my basement from the roof, and that is not uncommon. So, and that doesn't have anything to do with an ice dam, but it's right. The same thing. It takes the path of least resistance.
So it's a good idea to get them removed. So what is their number?
Let me go.
Just go to the top.
I know. Quick. 651 964 8557.
Yeah.
Not nice.
It hasn't been a big issue this year.
And I have one that I like, because I always recommend that if you can find a company to do it.
When these things occur, everybody's busy. But you want to find a reputable company.
I wanted to talk about insulation. So I'm going to recommend these guys. And I don't know if you stop going places. Go back to the beginning. See this Pink Panther? Does everybody know? That's, what's it? Yeah, but it's, what's that company called? Owens Corning. Speaking of which, their stock is up, you guys. So if you want to invest in a company, but here you go. Here's that.
We are not financial advisors, nor stock.
No, I know. We're not, but we can share advice between the two of us, right? Okay. So, if you look at this, right below him, that pink insulation is fiberglass. Okay. So, here they are doing the batting between rafters, And, they may be coming in afterwards. Here's that spray foam insulation. It's the most permanent, doesn't go anywhere. But this is a great company. I highly recommend it. A lot of times people will see, I'll share all these in there. So I'm gonna, you'll see on the side of stucco houses, you'll see those holes. That's where somebody has blown in insulation into the side of their house. A lot of people will say, well, what are those holes for? Well, that's what it's for. It's a good sign. But anyway, you guys, we're running along today. We got Friday. We have, what's his name? Come back. Josh Stanley from DKK Accounting coming back to talk about the different entities, sole proprietor, LLCs, S Corp, and the differences between them. So it's going to be an awesome show tomorrow. And if you can, stay tuned for that, okay?
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.